What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this video, we have debunking Hindu is outsider in Kashmir narrative. Before we debunk this narrative, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give a video a thumbs up. Also, if you like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Let's dive right in.
So after the recent terror attack in Pahalgam, unfortunately, Jammu and Kashmir has attracted the attention of the absolute most low IQ, brain-dead people on planet Earth, Islamists, and their postmodernist supporters. We're starting to hear things like Kashmir belongs to the Muslims. Hindus are actually the outsiders and settlers who are colonizing the Kashmir Valley. They need to pack up, they need to apologize and hand over the valley along with a thank you card to the Kashmiri Muslims and apply for a tourist visa to Kashmir like the good Kafirs they are. Now, they have been applying the same template to Israel and now they're using basically the same language with India and Kashmir. But let's not fall into that trap of comparing the Kashmir situation to Israel, because the story of Kashmir is completely different. It's a very unique region with a very unique history. And this is the problem with this Marxist Islamist nexus. Most of the time, they're just simply too lazy for nuance. And you might think that I'm making a ad hominem attack, but it has a factual basis. I call them lazy because they applied the same template to the US, Israel, and now Kashmir, which have three very different histories. According to these people, all three of them are doing settler colonialism. So let's talk about the history of Kashmir.
Of course, they're gonna try to paint that picture and spread that story, right, to make the rest of the world try to feel bad, because we know what was happening in Israel and gosh, I know it started with a P, and I feel terrible that I can't remember. I'm gonna look it up because that's so annoying, and I feel like such an idiot. Palestine. I didn't have to look. I didn't get to Google. Israel and Palestine. We know the situation that happened there, and this don't let Pakistan paint that same picture, as that's what this situation is.
Kashmir, because if you believe the secular narrative, the history of Kashmir started sometime around the 14th century, and everything before that was just an inconvenient fever dream. Just like the Pakistanis who have now become apologists and simps for the rapists of their great-grandparents, the Pakistanis also believe that their history starts from the 8th century AD with the invasion of Bin Qasim. But when you start looking a little deeper, not through the tweets of Twitter retards, but through history, you find something far deeper, far older, and far more rooted in India's Hindu culture in Kashmir than what's been fed to us through the Marxist Islamist narrative. Long before any mosque, madrasa, or even a Muslim invaded, again, I'm using that word very responsibly, invaded Kashmir, Kashmir was already glowing with the light of Indian Dharma. It was not just a region on a map, but a seat of Hindu wisdom and spirituality. In fact, the name Kashmir itself comes from the ancient Rishi Kashyap. The legend goes that the valley was once underwater, a great lake called Satisar, until Rishi Kashyap drained the lake so sages and seekers could live and study in Kashmir's natural beauty. The Rishi, after which Kashmir is named, is significantly older than Islam itself. The story of Hinduism and Kashmir is as old as the story of humanity and Kashmir. Islam didn't even exist when Kashmir was already a thriving intellectual and spiritual Hindu center. The Hindu surgeon Charak wrote the Charak Samhita in Kashmir in 300 BCE. That's almost 1,000 years before Islam was even born.
So they can't even, there's no way they could claim that Kashmir has always belonged to Muslims in Pakistan, to Islam, because how? It was already there before Islam even formed. Definitely before Pakistan formed. So how can you say that Hindus are the one that are colonizing it when they were around first?
It was here that Kashmir Shaivism took place, one of the most profound spiritual philosophies ever produced in the country. Where Shiva wasn't sitting far away on a mountaintop, he was right here. Shiva was always part of you. Philosophers like Abhinavagupta, Vasugupta, Utpaladev, these weren't just thinkers, they were civilizational giants fulfilling the purpose that Rishi Kashyap envisioned for Kashmir, while Islam was busy slaughtering everyone who wasn't willing to call Ola or Uber. Abhinavagupta's writings on aesthetics, tantra, and metaphysics are being studied across the world even today. Even Adi Shankaracharya, the great unifier of Indian philosophy, traveled to Kashmir and established a shrine on the hill now called Shankaracharya Hill. That's because Kashmir wasn't just a stop on his journey. Shankaracharya made a recognition, just like millions of other Indians, that Kashmir was spiritually central to India, just as important to the Indian civilization as Ayodhya, Tirupati, Rameshwaram or Somnath. I want to ask you, are the Saudis settler colonists in Riyadh? Are the Japanese settler colonists in Tokyo? Are the Quechua and the Aymara settler colonists in Peru? Then how the fuck are Hindus settler colonists in Kashmir? In fact,
my question is, do you guys think that, and I'm not exactly sure of the details in the situation, do you guys think that India will ever take Jammu and Kashmir back? Because I believe right now they are mostly Muslim. But do you guys think that India will take them back and Hindus will live there again, or do you guys think it will stay the way it is?
Let me tell you what settler colonialism looks like. If you wish to compare Kashmir to the US, let me then give you an accurate comparison. The 14th century started the dark era of this beautiful land. That's when the first Islamic rulers arrived, starting with Shah Mir, who established Muslim rule in the region. He was soon followed by one of the most brutal of these rulers, Sikandar Butshikan, whose name literally means the destroyer of idols. He banned Hindu practices, demolished temples, burned ancient libraries. Entire families were given ultimatums: convert to Islam, leave Kashmir, or die. Raliv, Galiv, Saliv, a saying that has been the official slogan of Kashmiri Islamism for centuries. Most recently heard in the 90s, when the Hindu population was ethnically cleansed and nearly 400,000 Kashmiri Hindus were forcibly displaced from their ancestral lands. Ring a bell? That's what settler colonialism looks like. What other group of people were forcibly pushed off their lands into reservations and their lands stolen by another group of people? Who were the settler colonists then? According to the Marxist Islamist nexus, the Native Americans who got their land stolen would be the settler colonists. Every generation of Kashmiri Hindus after that has lived with the burden of being a minority in their own homeland. Even under Aurangzeb, the brutal Mughal ruler, that pattern continued. It was during that time that Guru Tegh Bahadur, affectionately called Hind Di Chadar or the Shield of India, the 9th Sikh Guru, stepped in to protect Kashmiri Hindus from forced conversions. He was ultimately martyred in Delhi for trying to protect the native culture of Jammu and Kashmir. This is how much it meant to everyone in India, not just Kashmiri Hindus, to protect these people, this land, this heritage. So basically, blaming Hindus for the problems in Kashmir and settler colonialism is absolutely the worst form of victim blaming.
It's absolutely insane, bro. I literally, he's hitting the nail on the head, I think, and he knows a lot more about the situation than I do. And when you listen to him explain the details and the time periods and everything, it's quite obvious that Kashmir was not colonized by Hindus. Like, Hindus were already there before Islam formed, before Muslims came. They came and started slaughtering and killing anyone that wouldn't convert to Islam when the Hindus were already there. So how can it be colonized by Hindus? It doesn't even make sense.
Exactly the same as blaming a woman for getting assaulted. Again, anywhere else, if this happens to an indigenous culture, it is rightly called out as settler colonialism. I mean, hell, look at fiction. In Star Wars, when the evil empire forcibly took over planets, these people would have called the rebels fighting against the empire settler colonists if they were Hindus. So now when these very people whose ancestors built Kashmir, lived in it, prayed in it, try to reclaim their land, their temples, their culture, their story, they're told, stop being communal. They're labeled as outsiders. They're labeled as colonizers by academics sitting in Delhi cafes and editorial boards in New York. You want healing in Kashmir. You want Kashmir to heal. You'll have to start by admitting what happened to the Kashmiri Hindus. You'll have to admit that it was an ethnic cleansing and not a migration. Let's stop pretending that Islam is indigenous to Kashmir and that Islamism in Kashmir is not a religious fundamentalist colonial movement. Its actions were not dissimilar to what the European Americans did to the Native Americans. And maybe, just maybe, let's stop calling the original inhabitants settlers. So don't get mad when people push back and call you a cunt for suggesting that Hindus are settlers in Kashmir. There are a lot of Indians on the internet now, and you will get pushback like you've never gotten before. This is not Israel. You're not fucking with a country of like 7 million people. This is 100 million people. You're gonna get pushback from 100 million people. So if you're going to be a cunt, then that's exactly what you're going to get called. And I want to ask you, what is the best way, in your opinion, to respond to these idiots calling Hindus set colonists in Kashmir when they've always been indigenous to the area? Let me know your comments in the comment section below. Other than that, I will see you for the next episode. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy. I'll see you next time. And to all of you, is secular pranam.
My guy absolutely killed that video. Nothing but respect for what he said. To call them settlers is absolute insanity. And obviously, that's the Muslims and Islam trying to flip the narrative. But y'all talk to me in the comment section. What do you think of the situation? And what do you think about what he said in the video? If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe, get a bit of thumbs up. Check out the next. I'll see y'all next.